adventure, sports, outdoors. With host Harry Canterbury.
There I was, back in the wild again, and I felt right at home where I belong. I had that feeling coming over me again, just like it happened so many times before. Yeah.
Hi, Harry Canterbury with another edition of Adventure Sports Outdoors. We're back from Florida and back in our great hometown of Peoria, Illinois. And of course, it was a big surprise. You guys are, or say we guys now because we're back, are locked down pretty tight. Down in Florida, the beaches are back open. You can get a haircut. I haven't had a haircut in 5 months. Talked to my barber. She said, talk to me after June the 9th. So this is like the 70s, back when we were kids. So my hair is getting awful long. We had a great time in Florida, but you know, we lose friends, and I lost a very, very close friend of mine, somebody that we loved very much and really miss. And we'll be thinking about it for some time. It only happened a couple days ago. And so it hasn't really sunk in. They had cancer. It wasn't a COVID, although they thought it was immediately when they took him into the hospital. He was there 2 days and passed away.
Lung cancer.
It was actually, it spread. He had cancer in other areas. But we'll hold them dear to our heart for the rest of our lives. People like that only come around once in a while, so if you've got a close friend, be sure to tell them that you love them. It's really important to tell people that you really care about them. Because if you don't, you'll be sorry that you didn't do that.
But we did tell Dave several times
how
much we appreciated his friendship and thought he was just a wonderful guy. He has a lovely wife and a cute little dog named Clara.
Yeah,
They've been on a lot of other shows.
Yeah, they were wonderful people, and we'll show a little bit of that as we go along. But anyway, we've got some mushrooms that a good friend of mine, Andy Bugas, he heard I didn't get any, so he saved some and brought them over today. So we're going to fry those up, show you how to do that.
And the ASO magazine.
Adventure Sports Outdoors, the guy
Best outdoor paper in the
whole world.
The whole world, yeah.
But we also are going to talk to Norm Kelly, another good friend of mine, and Norm's having some health issues too, and we'll talk about that when we visit with Norm. But we're going to show you some pictures of Dave and Clara and Sharon, some very, very close friends.
Adventure Sports Outdoors is brought to you in part by Corsall Lumber, manufacturers of quality hardwood products, buyers of standing timber in Smithfield. Central Pool Supply, everything from pools to pool tables and much more in Peoria on West Pioneer Parkway. Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, located on Peoria's riverfront, open 11 a.m. daily. Eastport Marina, one of the only marinas in its class between Chicago and St. Louis, on Mariners Way in East Peoria. And by Goodwill of Central Illinois, free employment and veteran and youth services made possible because you donate. Our thanks to all of these sponsors.
And now here's some photographs of my close friend Dave and his wife Sharon and their little dog Clara. And we had so much fun down in Florida. Well, here's one of the reasons, I hate to say this, one of the reasons we came back to Illinois was to get some of these, and I went out to my favorite haunt, and it was a little too late. I was a week short. But I've been eating these since I was a little bitty kid, and getting these, they're like gold. But the only true way to eat a morel mushroom, this very delicate flavor, is to use butter, egg, half and half. Milk will work, but half and half is the best. And salt and pepper and cracker crumbs. That's everything. And I'm going to go through the procedure here and show you how we do it. We've got our mushrooms cut in half, soak them in salt water in case there's any bugs, and then rinse them out, put them in the refrigerator for a couple hours, and let them rehydrate, because they dry out awfully quick. And then take them out, put them on a paper towel like this, and lay them in rows and let them dry out. They're still damp, they're still moist, and that's where we're going to start. So we got the egg. I've already beat the egg. We're going to take a little milk, or half and half, and we're going to put a little half and half right in there. You don't have to have a lot, just enough to kind of dilute the eggs a little bit. So you want it to look about like that. This is kind of a mixture of milk and egg, and the consistency is pretty good. Now, you can do it 2 or 3 different ways. I like to take a little salt, put a little salt in there, and then put a little pepper. And you can put a lot of pepper. Pepper's not going to hurt it or deter from the flavor. It's going to enhance the flavor. So you put your pepper in there, stir that all up. You got to get your heat up. You don't want to burn your butter. I've already got a stick of butter in there, and you start out with a stick. And some people use oil, which, you know, I don't even want to talk about. I don't want to give you any bad ideas. Use USDA salted butter. And my videographer, Kenny, doesn't care for mushrooms, so we're kind of happy about that. We're glad he don't want to eat any. So anyway, we got the butter going. We're going to get our heat up, and now we're going to take a roll of premium crackers. I always buy the best crackers, salted, and you take these and you put them in a bag, like so. You beat the crackers up. Now you can buy at the store, if you can find them, they're real expensive, already crunched up, you know, powdered crackers. But this is the way us hillbillies do it. Put them in here. Okay, I take, of course, I've got my milk and egg, which is half and half, and I give it a little bath. It ends up looking like this. And I put it in the cracker crumbs and roll it and pat it. And it's a little bit of a pain in the neck to do it to each one. If you throw them in there and gobble them all up, they all get gooey. You lay it in there, start cooking. We're going to get a mess. And I usually use about a stick of butter every time I cook a mess. Sometimes there's a little butter left over for the next bunch, but butter is the secret.
It's really important to turn your mushrooms and brown them on one side. Let them cook probably, 5 to 8 minutes on one side on a medium low. Start it out, you know, on higher and get it really hot. We're just cooking with butter, so we don't have any oil in here. You just leave the butter by itself. But you have to watch your temperature so it doesn't scorch on you. Okay, this is nicely browned on each side. You can see that. And then the other side, it's browned a little differently. But that's like ready. I'm going to kind of put it on the side. We're so thrilled to have these mushrooms. Thank you, Andy. He's done a great job with our magazine, keeping it going. It's been 4 years now.
Well, you know what goes with these? Absolutely nothing. No baked beans, no coleslaw, no nothing. I mean, you can have that stuff, but you know, when you eat mushrooms,
That's a vegetable.
yeah, it's a vegetable.
It's a meaty
It's
vegetable.
a wild vegetable.
Meaty vegetable.
But we love these, and we try to get at least one mess. This is the only mess we got this year. I got to thank Andy Bugas for, you know, donating these to the cause. He really filled the void. I've been thinking about it for a week, and went out one time, and it looked like I was a little late. But we've got the mushrooms, and we got them cooked, And they are delicious, and I know you guys that eat them all the time. You're thinking, oh boy, I just got to watch you guys eat mushrooms, because you guys are all done with them, I'm sure.
Delicious.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So anyway, stay tuned. We're going to see a good friend of ours, Norm Kelly, in a special place with a special guy.
Hi, I'm Dave Barth with your Sportsman's Tip of the Week. Many guys and gals are cowboys at heart, and everybody likes to shoot at a cowboy rifle. And today we have a few examples of some of those guns. We're going to start first with trapdoor Springfields. This is an officer's model, and it's a current production. Then we have the rifle version, and then we have the cavalry model, which is just identical just about to what Custer had at the Little Bighorn. They shoot a 45-70, they're single shot. You put that hammer on half cock, you open the loading gate, you drop your round in, close it, cock it fully, and you're ready to go. And then we jump up into lever action rifles, and these are Uberti, and they're exact copies of Winchester 73s. This is a copy of a Winchester 92 carbine. It's made by Rossi. This particular rifle's in a 44 Magnum. If you're a big John Wayne fan, they make the John Wayne rifle. This is a 44-40, the large loop, just like what he carried in most of his movies. And here's a nice example of some American-made rifles. These are made in New Jersey by the Henry Company. And if you want to do some long-range cowboy shooting, here's an example of a Sharps rifle. This is made by Shiloh Sharps. It's a 45-110. Probably the most common caliber in a Sharps these days is 45-70. And this particular rifle is a special order. It's got the shotgun butt plate, high-grade wood, factory-installed peep sight, and a extra heavy barrel. I'm Dave Barth with your Sportsman's Tip of the Week. Good shooting.
We're in a place that most people are trying to stay out of.
You didn't tell me you were funny here.
Yeah, but we're at Springdale Cemetery. I guess I should admit it, I've spent countless hours out here. I'm a big history buff, and I come out and look at all the stones. Virtually every older street in Peoria, the names of all the streets, everything from Darth Street to Clark Street, Barron's, Carrington, they're all those people are buried here. But anyway, I'm here with Norm Kelly, as you all can see, and Norm's been a very dear friend of mine for many years. He has done all sorts of things. He's wrote many books, and I can't mention, he might be able to if he can remember himself.
No.
How many articles?
Oh God, that would be in the 700 or 800.
700 or 800?
Oh yeah, in fact, online alone I think I have 700 just online. And I have seems like hundreds that are laying somewhere in the bottom of a box.
Well, we're going to kind of get to the point. Norm's health is failing. More than likely he won't be here next year.
And not right here.
No, not here. At least you know what? You got a great sense of humor.
Oh, I think it's a wit.
And it's a wit, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I don't think I have, isn't that funny? Might as well talk about that.
Yeah.
About a sense of humor. And what is it? Well, I never think that I had one. And yet people accuse me of that. And yet I think it was just a wit based on sarcasm. So there you are.
And you can be very sarcastic.
Exactly.
That's right. You're the king of it.
I think that I spent a living doing that, really.
Well, let's. We only got like 20 minutes for the show, and I would like Pete for you to talk about. You're a Peorian, born and raised here. You're from an Irish Catholic family. You had a lot of brothers, sisters, and lived over in Val Vista neighborhood. Vista. That's over off of Forest Hill and Gale, over in that area.
Yeah, the Holy Family.
The church is over there.
Holy Family. It starts Fennell, goes down to Woodrow Wilson, which isn't there.
Yeah.
That's just a little area.
And a lot of people don't know this, and you'll have to give me the specific dates and times and ages. But you were a marathon runner till when?
Not a marathon runner.
Well, you would run. I'm not a runner. So
marathon runners run over 26 miles. Most of those are dead. I'm telling you, people, if you're a marathon runner, stop. It's that simple.
Many people died while you.
3 friends of mine during marathon. My point is there's no reason for you to run 26 miles. Why are you doing that? I ran for years and years and years, 10 Ks, and as about an hour and 6 minutes, and I lived through it all.
When was the last time you were in a competitive run?
At age 80, I was still competing in races, and I had filled out my application for the steamboat, but I had my pain in my knee, and I decided I probably
better
shouldn't.
not do that.
But I wish I would have done it. This is all record. You can look it up.
Well, now another thing that really interests me, and I've been fascinated by your ability, is you were quite the golfer.
That's right.
You loved golfing, but you made it more of a job because you gambled a lot.
I did. We didn't call it that.
What'd you call it?
A competition.
Competition. But you know what was kind of sad, I guess, but you took your golf clubs, you took out your putter, you took the golf clubs and you set them out on the curb for the trash man. Within an hour, somebody picked them up.
A couple of them were excellent.
Yeah.
I kept the wedge and the putter, which I gave to my son. I played for 77 years.
That's
and I was taught by a wonderful golfer, and he had a driving range over on University, behind Bueller Home. Bueller Home, walked straight back to University.
Macomb Chevrolet was built in there.
And he rented that, and during the war, and then I picked up golf balls and painted the initials and stuff on them.
Yeah.
He died at 29 years old. He died on the green, on the 9th green at Newman.
At Newman, you told me
He was a wonderful guy. Taught me stuff. And while the average 12-year-old was doing whatever they did, I would hit anywhere from 100 to 300 wedges, day in, day out during the week.
Daily.
Oh, every day.
Well, the old saying, practice makes perfect.
Unless you practice and you're doing it wrong.
Well, you've had an interesting life, but when you hit 50, you started writing. What got you interested? I know why. You and I have talked about it 100 times. But tell everybody why you became so interested in the city of Peoria, a place where you grew up and loved. It's all changed. It's not even a shadow of its former self. It's just a glimpse of what it used to be. And we're sitting in this cemetery with all these different names. We're sitting in front of Mrs. Bradley, the one that, of course, donated the land and the money, and Bradley Park and all that. So there's a lot of distinguished, this is Peoria. We're sitting in Peoria.
Oh, yeah, there's 22,000?
More than that. I think there's close to 70,000
Is it
people.
really? God.
I believe. I don't want to be quoted on it, but there's a city within a city of people that have passed away. But what got you going on Peoria? What's the deal?
It really started when I was in the service, and they would kid me about Peoria.
About the prostitution and the whiskey and
I lived here.
I lived
and
here.
I said to the guy, "You talk about my hometown?" And of course, I knew certain things, but didn't seem very interesting to me. And then at age 50, that I became unemployed. Do you become unemployed? Is that anyway? I had no job. I worked at a grocery store and a couple other places, and for some reason, my brother talked me into running. He said, "Norm, be good for you." So I started running, and one night I ran and out of Detweiler, and I saw what I thought were wolves, 2 of them. It was a beautiful moonlit night, snow on the ground. And when I came home, I just wrote down, "Running with wolves."
And you wrote a story about it.
And I said, "Dancing with wolves, I'd probably be rich with it." But I didn't. And so I just started thinking about writing about that. And that really started it. And then there was a floodgates over the next 40 years, and I couldn't stop it.
You're a historian, and so am I. I just kind of throw myself into it, and you do too. But if there was someone in this cemetery that you could sit down and talk to, who would that be?
I think I would check some of my facts with Mayor Woodruff.
Mayor Woodruff.
Because I don't find him that interesting. I knew too much about him. He was a shadow man.
And made money being that.
But he owned 2 businesses.
Yeah, but you know, the graft.
He and listen, are you listening? He never made a damn dime. Do you understand that? He didn't need graft. He dealt with a bunch of low lives, with high lives. He knew every living soul in this town. He loved the city. There will always be graft. There will always be gambling. And the thing for this city to do is profit from it. I paraphrase him. And his idea was simple. Why on earth should we allow gambling in this town and not charge for the privilege? And that was the word. And so it started with $250 for every slot machine.
So that would be the person that you would, you know a lot about him, but you would like to make sure that what you heard about him and verify those facts.
I would say, all right, Baron, let me tell you who you are. Now you tell me where I'm kidding.
But you told me a minute ago that after you got done talking to him, he'd tell you to shut up.
He would finally look at me and say, "No, would you just shut the hell up?" And that's who he was. He had a crooked neck, kind of a crooked neck. They called him Little Napoleon, old crooked neck, warrior. Where do you think the Woodruff warriors came from? By the way, I wanted one more final thing, because you're not going to hear from me anymore. The final thing, that we never had anything like a speakeasy. We didn't need them. How the hell could you hide a speakeasy in Peoria, Illinois, when there were 65 taverns on Adams alone? Where are you going to hide them? And why would you hide them? And he opened up the taverns by calling them soft drink parlors. And he charged a soft drink parlor license fee. And we had as many as 166 of them. And our nightlife, after 9 o'clock, that's when the booze flowed, the prostitution. And it was a wonderful time to be right here.
You know, we don't know how long you got. You've got an incurable, unoperable cancer.
I wish I had one.
Yeah.
Oh, an inoperable? I'd take that.
And so we don't know how many more months or whatever you've got to go.
Weeks.
Weeks, or we don't know. But when you do die, you were raised Catholic, do you believe in life after death?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely. In fact, realizing there are people out there devout on their knees already, to think that when you say no, they somehow take it personally. That's the joke of it all. What right, first of all, do they have to make a decision, I'm right or wrong? Where the hell do you get that? Well, in the Bible. Well, then if we talk 7 days about the Bible, where are we? Who wrote it? I mean.
But how do you want to be remembered next year? Because you've told me you're not going to be here next year.
Oh, no, I can't imagine being here.
So
they better come up with a better pain pill, by God.
They better work on that one.
Okay, so why do I
how do you want me? I know how I'm going to think of you.
Okay.
I'm going to, love you till the day I die.
I appreciate that.
You know that.
Sure.
You're a very dear, close friend. But just the general public, when your name comes up?
I'll just tell you things that I'm proud of. That's it.
Okay.
First of all, first thing was being named a distinguished alumni for Woodruff. Mm-hmm. It was the funniest thing that ever happened to me. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a riot. I couldn't imagine what on earth.
I bet you were a stellar student, huh?
Truly one of the absolute worst. I'm only interested in what my kids and my grandchildren think about, and
that's the most important.
Might not.
Well, you've been an extremely, and people don't know this, but you've told me, and I know a lot about you. But and I told you this many times, you've been a great father, and and you told me, but you've been a more wonderful grandfather.
I was.
You didn't miss any of the plays, and you really kind of,
I grew up with them.
Cheerleaded the kids. Yeah, you grew up with them, and your papa, and they think the world of it.
That's what I think.
That's important.
I'll tell you, I might not be able to say this, I'll drink this water, but my grandson has here, he has a tattoo.
On his chest. Yeah.
You could edit this and make it look like a halfway normal. He has a tattoo, and it says, it's my name, my signature.
Norm Kelly. He thought a lot of you.
Very hard to say.
Well, that's.
But I don't know if I even said it enough
That's
where you could get it.
That's something to be proud of.
But it's things like that. And a granddaughter that I saw every play and advised her all my life and hers. And then I took care of my kids financially at certain times, you know. Those are the personal ones. And accumulating people in all walks of life here in my town, I think, was something. Everybody from a bum to the top physician or lawyer, people like that, you know. My lectures, I was proud of my lectures.
I've been to a number of them, and you can't get in. I had to sit on the floor. Well, we could go on for a long, long time. We've covered a lot of ground. And I just want to say this from my heart, Norm. It's a privilege, and I am proud to be able to call you a friend.
Thank you.
I mean
Thank you.
that. I mean that. And I'm going to shake your hands even though we're not supposed to.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
If I die, blame him.
Okay. We'll see you next month.
Adventure Sports Outdoors is brought to you in part by Corsall Lumber, manufacturers of quality hardwood products, buyers of standing timber in Smithfield. Central Pool Supply, everything from pools to pool tables and much more in Peoria on West Pioneer Parkway. Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, located on Peoria's riverfront, open 11 a.m. daily. Eastport Marina, one of the only marinas in its class between Chicago and St. Louis, on Mariners Way in East Peoria. And by Goodwill of Central Illinois, free employment and veteran and youth services made possible because you donate. Our thanks to all of these sponsors.
Thanks for watching another edition of Adventure Sports Outdoors.
We have another great show planned for next month. You don't want to miss it.